In a galaxy far, far, very far away, there was a whole lot of nothing. And that is Starfield. That's all. That's it. That's the review. I'm Adam, here with my co-host Raheem, and we're going to be discussing Starfield today. Going into it, when it was announced, when it was released, I was not excited whatsoever about this game. It piqued my interest for all of 5 seconds. Then they said, hey, we have 800 planets for you to explore. And I immediately called bullshit. And turns out I was right. I did not have a good time playing this game. Raheem, I know you had a different experience than I did, so let's hear what you got.
I was pretty excited for the game leading up to its release. It was a new Bethesda property. After playing Fallout and Skyrim, I thought this would be different. This would be a pretty good game. While I was playing the game, I was enthralled in it, and as I was getting through the game, my opinion was changing constantly. At first I thought it was this, and then I realized it was that. So yeah. My thoughts about the game we'll get into, but it should have been better. It should have been better.
Yeah, we've seen good Bethesda titles before, and this one's a sorry excuse for one, if you ask me. I want to talk about the story. The story was so goddamn dull. Up until the part you go, and by the way, spoiler heavy review, just so everybody knows. I'll give you a couple seconds to click away if you don't want to hear what I have to say. The story really didn't start for me until after you go to NASA on the moon. Or sorry, was it? No, it was on Earth, right?
That was on Earth.
When you leave NASA and you've got the hunter and the emissary standing outside waiting for you, and you have to make a decision. Who do you want to side with? You find out the truth of the rocks, the space rocks that you're collecting, which finally it only took 70% of the story to figure the fuck that out. And you have to choose. You find out what it is, you find out what it does, you find out what you're working towards, and you now have to make a choice with the emissary. With the emissary and the hunter? Do you want to protect the Unity, or do you want to abuse the Unity? And that right there actually got me interested. And then it turns out that's like the very end of the game. You do like 2 missions after that, and then you do the last fight, and that's it.
Yep.
And that made that so much worse for me, because I was like, finally, we're getting into something. We got something interesting cooking here, and it's over.
Did you go through the Unity?
I did go through the Unity. Oh, funny story. I went through the Unity, the credits rolled, and my computer had about as much of this game as I had, and crashed 5 seconds into the credit roll.
Yeah, the optimization of Starfield is not great. Man, it is. It seems to be a computer killer right now.
Yeah.
So, well, my take of the story, it was pretty dull. But it kept me enthralled enough when I got my first power. It really kept me interested. Because I wanted to know where these powers came from. Why am I the one getting them? Why am I here? Yada yada. As I get through the story, and I find out, who the hunter is. It's pretty much one of your companions. And then you find out about the emissary too. And then it kept me enthralled enough, but it wasn't great. The one mission where it was like you were going between the present world or your present universe and the hellish universe, that was interesting. I thought that was really cool.
Such a good, if they had made that concept the whole game, that would have been really fucking cool. right? Because I
Right.
genuinely enjoyed that mission. It was a nice little puzzle to solve. It was really cool.
Right.
You were bouncing in between the alternate dimensions, and it was like a multiverse type situation, right? Where in
Right.
this world, in this universe, in this multiverse, the person sacrificed himself and died, and whatever the fuck happened was contained. And in the other one, they didn't die. They were the only one who lived, and whatever the fuck happened spread and killed everybody else.
Right. And
So,
it also it had a choice,
mhm.
a pretty big choice. That was like probably the only choice that really stuck with me besides the one with the between the hunter and the emissary. But that one was just like, honestly, I didn't side with either of them. I fought both of them. So I said fuck you both. But I was but with I thought that choice was pretty cool. But I think that's what the game should have been more going about. Like
Right.
maybe the multiverses colliding with one another, and you're gonna have to see
They
like multiple people and stuff like that, multiple bad guys, you see like good guys and bad guy versions of that, and you're like choosing what you should do. Like take if they did a bad version of the CEO guy,
Right.
maybe you had to choose how he ran his company from then on out. I think that would be awesome.
Like they had so much opportunity to do something interesting, and they
Yeah,
squandered it hard.
100%.
Hard.
100%.
Like, it's a multiverse. You set up a multiverse, and you did nothing with it except
So
except have yourself exist as God even knows what the fuck that was at the end of the game. Honestly, with the Unity.
so you didn't go through after the credits, but pretty much after the credits, after you go through the Unity, you actually start at the beginning of the game in a different universe.
Right. I assume
So
this
that's right, which that is pretty cool. You
Right.
get this cool looking ship, and you get this cool looking armor. You actually have a choice of whether you want to go through the story again, or if you want to say that, or if you want to tell everybody that you're from a different universe and just go through the story up until you go to Unity, and then go through another, and then go to another universe at the beginning of the game again.
Right.
Which actually, apparently, if you do this like 10 times, you can go ahead and get some ship or something like that, which I find is ridiculous to be going through the game 10 fucking times for that. But
Yeah.
to each his own, I guess. It's not that great for me to want to do that 10 times.
No.
So it's one of those things where they had a potential, they had the concept with that story there, but going around trying to figure out the rock stuff like that and not having many interesting stuff along the way, and then only really having that one interesting story, that mission that came out that really popped out to me. That's not great.
Yeah.
That's not great. I can name, I can compare it to the other experiences that I've had in other games. But this story just, it should have been better.
It could have been better. That's the worst part.
Yeah. Yeah. They plant a seed in the one mission, then just.
Yeah. What did you think about the characters in the story?
They were all right. Pretty much the only guy that I really found a connection with, I guess, was the cowboy. I thought he was interesting, his daughter, but that could also only because I'm now a father. So, I don't. The characters, they were okay. I mean, I did have my adoring fan. That was cool. He was like praising me the whole time. So that was pretty cool, I guess.
I'll go back to the adoring fans in a second.
But as for really the character stories and stuff like that, I mean, I don't know. They weren't really compelling to me.
No.
So
I was going through the game. I didn't like the intro. You pick up the rock, and all of a sudden, fucking Space Cowboy just ends up finding you. He's like, "Hey, you're the guy I'm looking for." Like, how the fuck would you know that? How do you know I touched the rock? Like, hello? It made no sense. This guy and what was his name? Barrett, I think his name was.
Barrett. Yeah.
Was supposed to be funny, I think.
Yeah.
Like he kind of felt like he was supposed to be like a Deadpool type character, just like a good kind of Deadpool type character. He was supposed to be like the quick on the funny jokes and stuff like that, and it just wasn't hitting for me. And then you meet the rest of the crew, and you've got they're just all so boring and almost stereotypical, like archetype characters that you would kind of expect to see in like a space show, you know?
Right.
I mean, Sam Coate, the cowboy you were talking about.
Yeah, Sam Coate.
He was slightly interesting. And then I found out his entire story is just that he's got daddy issues. And
pretty much.
Then I was like, all right, I'm bored now. I don't want to I don't care anymore. Like, I thought he had some like dark past. Nope.
Yeah.
There was no character development at all.
Okay. There is character development. It's just, I don't know. It didn't really go anywhere to me.
Then that's not really development, is it?
I mean, they developed as you're talking to them and everything like that. I think they have like their own side missions, but honestly, I never did it.
I had no obligation to do the side missions. Period. I had no compulsion. Not rather. I didn't feel like I had to. I didn't want to either.
Right.
Because the game at no point was like, hey, this is something really interesting over here. No, it was just like, hey, I need to talk to you later. Like, that's cool. I don't fucking like you. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go find some more space rocks. And fuck you guys. Like, when the hunter came through and started murking everybody, I'm like, finally something interesting is happening.
Yeah.
He had I think he had the old dude in a chokehold. I'm like, shoot him!
Yeah, the hunter did liven the game up. When the hunter came in, it livened the game up.
Yeah, for sure.
It just took a long time for him to come in. You know?
Yeah. It took too long for the story to get interesting, and then it wasn't interesting for long enough.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. How did you feel? Actually, let me ask you this question: who died when the hunter came through in your story?
So the person that died for me was Sam, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Sam died.
Okay. In my story, Sarah died.
Okay.
And I'm assuming when you go meet the emissary, it is the dead person of the group.
I think so, because the guy that was there was Sam for me.
As the emissary.
As the emissary,
okay, yeah. Sarah was the emissary for me.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That was a semi-interesting thing, but it didn't really have the impact that I felt it should have. I also want to talk
about the characters.
Right. I also want to talk about the fact that I had absolutely no care in the world that Sarah had died.
Yeah.
And I feel like the other characters didn't either. You had that one moment where one of the characters, picks up the dead body and they're like, "Oh my god, no." And then everyone's like, "Okay, more space rocks, guys."
I mean, they do have a funeral. They do have a funeral for him. I don't know.
4 missions later, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna have a funeral."
Yeah.
Like, hello?
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of important.
It sucks because I really thought that the characters were going to be fleshed out and interesting. I mean, they said that you're going to have like a whole bunch of characters on your ship and everything like that, but I don't know. I don't know.
I think the whole game solo, dude.
I mean, you can. I didn't. I had Sarah with me or Sam with me most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think Andrea was her name. I forgot. But still.
Yeah. It was the story and the characters not interesting, and it really put a damper on the whole lot of nothing in the game. On top of that, I think we're going to segue into talking about the gameplay now.
Yep.
I feel like you can break the gameplay down into 3 modes, okay? It's Bandit Dungeon Simulator. You've got Rock Farming Simulator. And you've got what would Ace Combat feel like in space. And
I mean,
the only thing that was enjoyable, slightly, the first-person shooter aspect of the game. Just a little bit. There was no real difficulty to anything I did. I ran straight through the story. I picked up whatever guns I found, whatever guns I liked. I got whatever upgrades I needed. I was level 17 fighting an army of level 30 Starborn.
Right.
I feel like that shouldn't have been feasible.
It definitely wasn't a difficult game at all. That's probably why they didn't have an actual cover system.
Yeah.
Which really sucks. I mean, you like, okay, you could crouch behind stuff, but why not actually have me go into cover?
Right.
Know? And make it just somewhat interesting. But
I didn't get too many powers. I didn't get any powers, actually. I got the base one. I got one that gave me a self-contained atmosphere, I think it was. Self-contained atmosphere. And I was like, that's a boring-ass power. I don't want to know what else is out there. And I kept it pushing. Did you find any interesting powers, is what I'm going to ask.
I actually got all the powers. The one that pretty much stuck out was that I can create a duplicate from me from another universe.
That's it?
That was it. Yep.
I was fighting one of the Starborn. One of them just summoned a giant ice meteor in the fucking room. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. Why wouldn't you give me that as the first power to make me be like, yo, let me go do some more fun shit with this. Yo, if I could drop a fucking meteor on people? Come on, that would have been so fucking cool. I feel like they tried to go with like a very realistic sci-fi-esque feel to the game, but then we're just like, there's magical powers, but they're not that cool. And it's like, so what's the point of having magical powers if you can't do something cool? Like, if I can't summon a fucking asteroid from space to land on somebody, it's a fucking space game. Come on.
Right. I mean, you could do elemental pull. I'm just looking up the powers right now. They do have alien reanimation. I mean, you can resurrect a dead alien, but I don't. You were mostly fighting other people, so
right. So
I
want to talk about the aliens in a second, because that's a big point of fucking disappointment for me.
Oh wait, here's something. Particle beam. You can summon a particle beam.
That's kind of cool.
Solar flare. Oh, it looks like there were other powers and stuff. Supernova. You explode with the power of a supernova. Oh wait, hold on. Summon space. Shoot a ball of ice as cold as space into an area.
Oh yeah, that was the one that hit me.
Yeah, any living being caught in the blast for a duration. Oh, there you go. So you just need to get all the powers.
So they should have given you an interesting power to begin with, not an anti-gravity field that did absolutely fucking nothing when you're getting pelted with fucking bullets.
Oh man.
I want to talk about the aliens that we run into. There's obviously alien life forms on the planets, and by alien life forms I mean it was just like a bear from Skyrim with a different skin, because all it did was run up to you and smack you and make a noise.
Yeah,
the aliens were so fucking disappointing. They could have done so much cool shit. Had an ungodly variety of aliens, and have them each do unique things that make the game just that much more interesting while you're doing the rock farming simulator. Did you experiment with that at all?
With the aliens?
No, the rock farming. The
rock farming. I did do it because I had I was trying to see what it was for. So I mined a lot Oh, well, I don't say a lot. I mind a bit, just to see what it was like, and just see if I could do anything with it. Um, don't really do too much.
That's
You know?
my thing. It's like, what the fuck is the point of all this? I can't use it to upgrade my shit. It's supposed to be used to upgrade my weapons and armor in the crafting station, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I went to the crafting station and I can only make like 2 or 3 things, and I capped them out. And then I'm like, all right, what the fuck do I do now? And I think to further anything you could do with crafting, you had to put a talent point into it, if I remember correctly. And I'm like, I ain't wasting a fucking talent point on that. I gotta go up my ballistic damage because I don't give a fuck about anything else going on. I need to shoot the thing in front of me. Or carry more shit. Like, that was like on the bottom of my fucking list of things. Jesus.
And actually, getting to the talent points things. I mean, there are like most of the interesting talents you can get were just far into the tree.
Yeah.
And you can do a lot to get to those points in the tree. You know, this is one of the things where it seemed like they were more concerned about New Game Plus than they were about the initial run through the game.
I want to know what I'm working towards.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of the crux of the game, right? It's like, what the fuck am I working towards right now? I'm collecting rocks. For what? I'm leveling up, putting my points into stuff. For what?
Right.
Where am I going? Right. What am I doing? There is nothing up until you force yourself to do the nothing for 70% of the game, and then you're like, okay, we finally got something here. And like I said, it lasts for 1 or 2 missions, and it's gone.
Right. Well, getting back to the crux of the gameplay. I mean, it's just the gameplay and the shooting aspect. It was pretty much just a standard shooter.
Yeah. It was nothing special. The VAT system wasn't there from Fallout.
You could actually you unlock a slowdown system for the ships. I don't know if you ever do unlock a slowdown system for shooting. I know I didn't, but I know you can unlock it for the ships. So
let's talk about I was gonna say, let's talk about the ships real quick.
Right.
How did you feel about space combat?
The space combat actually was better than most space combat games that I've played. Or pretty much any flying combat game that I've played. It was actually easy to do, easy to target. Didn't make me like, what the fuck? I swear to God, I'm hitting this motherfucker, and yet it's like my fucking bullets are going into space. It actually felt good. You know, that part of the gameplay was I actually felt pretty good. I have no complaints really about it.
It wasn't bad. The only problem I had was the controls to maneuver the energy bars for the shield and the guns and the grav drive and all that shit. Doing that mid-combat, which is, I feel like it's supposed to be done mid-combat. Like, you're like, oh shit, I'm in combat. Let me power down my grav drive and throw some more into the shield, or throw some more into my guns. It felt like you never had the time to do that unless you ran away from the fight.
I mean, I think that might have been the point. I mean, look at Star Wars. You know, when they're in the middle of a fight, they're like, put everything into the gravity engine, or
right.
Stuff like that. You know.
Yes, but what I'm saying is it should have been more streamlined on how to do that. Or it should have been an easier process to do it, because like basically I'm over here trying to dodge missiles and fucking laser beams, right? I don't have time to take my finger off the fucking analog stick to go and drop down into the D-pad and scroll over and have to up down left right to try and relocate the energy. It was kind of a pain in the ass. I had to stop what I was doing in the middle of the fight, stop my direction of flight. Basically, I can still move forward, but I'm a sitting duck if I'm moving forward. I still got missiles locked on me, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it probably would have helped if they had like profiles that you could just scroll through right quick.
Right. Or have a different button layout. Like use the R triggers to fucking scroll through, or something like that, instead of and I'm not talking like the actual shooting triggers, like the bumpers. At least on the Xbox controller, that's what I was using to play the game.
Right.
Use the bumpers to switch in between, and then X or something better than just moving your hand to the D-pad. It was just felt wrong to have to stop yourself in the middle of the space combat.
Right. I get that.
So I didn't like it too much. It was okay, but I feel like I didn't really spend a lot of time in space. All I did was grab drive from place to place.
Yeah.
And it was I had to sit through the fucking grab drive cutscene 1.5 million times because you can't jump to this one because it's too far, but you can jump to the one right before it, or you haven't discovered the solar system but you know the path, so I can send you to the one right before it, and then you can unlock this one. And I'm like, you're just wasting my time. That's all it was. The grab jumping was just time wasting.
Yeah, I don't know why you couldn't just plot just plot the course and just go through. That didn't make much sense to me.
And then I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, why do I even have fuel consumption if every time I grab jump to a spot that has less fuel, I just refill on fuel automatically?
Right.
Why have that barrier if you're not going to enforce the barrier? When I grab jump and I use 30 or just 70% of my fuel to do this grab jump, don't fill me back up to full so I can do another grab jump that takes another 70% of my fuel. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because I didn't stop to fuel up. You know what I mean? So
I never got that either.
It's one of those stick with a barrier. Either let me grab drive to where I need to go automatically right off the bat, or every time I make a long jump, make me have to go and refuel. Pick which situation you want to go, because now I'm glad they didn't go with the having to make me refuel every time, because I would have strangled a child.
But just why have that saying that you need the fuel in the first place if you're not going to do anything with it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I get you. So my thing is just the gameplay just seemed like it was, like I said, a pretty solid, just standard gameplay. The ship was just easier to control for me than other games, but it's not like it reinvented the wheel. The powers were interesting if you got them. If you got the powers and used them, they were interesting, I guess. But I don't know.
On an ending point with the gameplay, I want to talk about the persuasion system, and I guess we'll talk about the lockpicking system as well, since they're kind of extras. The persuasion system was terrible. I'm gonna be honest.
Really? I thought it was interesting.
It was kind of cool, but the higher difficulty ones, you don't really know how likely you are to succeed. It's just a red bar. The green ones, you still don't even know how likely you are to succeed. It's just a green bar, and you get a +1 or a +2. And it was cool, having to fill the bar up, right? You have to choose options, but it wasn't even like you were trying to choose the right option to fit the person you were talking to, right? In some sort of interrogation situation. It was just roll the dice and fucking pray that the option you chose works. Because if I'm talking to somebody who's scared, right? I think the robbers in that Sam Coe story is a good one. They're scared, they got hostages, whatever, and you're like, look, I can help you out, and they're like, nah, you're fucking bullshitting because I failed my roll or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
It's nah, you're bullshitting me. And then you go to say something else along the lines of I'm trying to help you, and they're like, oh, well, maybe you're not bullshitting me. And then you go and threaten them to get that +5 because you're out of persuasion chances, and you're like, yeah, let me pray this works. And you're like, I'm gonna help you, and then your last ditch resort to get the fucking persuasion to succeed is I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then it works. And I'm like, that's just I'm not even trying to have a conversation with these NPCs to try and convince them. I'm just rolling the fucking dice.
Right. Yeah, you see the persuasion system, it was interesting how you were doing it, but they should have definitely taken more consideration as to the characters you were talking to, what options would work once you started your first option. So if I'm going with the option of trying to be their friend, then everything afterwards should be different options of how I can be their friend.
Right.
It shouldn't be like I'm trying to be your friend and now I'm trying to be your enemy.
Right.
It's not really how that works. And it would also be cool to see a more percentage based to see if this would succeed. You know, next to the +2, you see like, okay, this has like a 15% chance of succeeding. You know, depending on your renown or your skill stats and all that stuff. So it's,
I think
I think there's going to be a common theme with Starfield. The basic bone of something interesting is there, but they just don't fulfill their potential.
Right. Because
and I think that's going to be the basic theme of it.
I think something really interesting they could have done is like flesh it out like a conversation. Like you ever read those books where it's like choose your own adventure kind of books?
Yeah.
Where it's like it'll lay out the situation, then you could choose 4 of the options, and then if you choose this option, you go into this scenario. If you choose this option, you die. If you choose this option, whatever. I think they could have done something like that, like a nice little spiderweb conversation where it's like, okay, you chose this option, now we have this conversation going. And if you choose the right set of conversation points, you can succeed.
Right.
And it's like tailored to the situation that you're in. And one of the ones that really pissed me off was when Barrett got kidnapped by the Red Dawn, or whatever the fuck they were, the Crimson Raiders.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And you go to rescue him, and you tear through this fucking bandit camp. Okay, you kill everybody in your fucking path.
Yeah.
Then you get to the boss room. And my man's just chilling there. He's like, hey, what's up, buddy? I'm like, I just murdered like 50 people to get to you. What are you doing in here? And then you have a conversation with the bandit leader, and he's just like, yeah, I'm a pretty chill dude. We it's fine. You killed my whole crew, but you know, we could talk this out. And like, in a sense that like, he's trying to be your friend in a really weird way that just didn't work. Like, you're supposed to be a bandit, my guy. If they would have been like, you can try to befriend the bandit, but he's a bandit and he's gonna try to fucking kill you anyway, that would have been a little more interesting.
Right.
But I succeeded in my persuasion. He was like, yeah, you know what? Take the guy who I think is worth millions of fucking space credits, and you can just leave. It's fine. No big deal.
Right.
And then he's like, hey, Barrett, call me later, bro. I'm like, this is just like, what the fuck is going on right now? And then we just fucking moseyed off their fucking ship. I'm like, it just didn't feel right. Nothing felt right in this game.
Well, what about the lockpicking? What'd you think of that?
I actually enjoyed. Okay, I have to now retract my last statement. I actually enjoyed the lockpicking. I genuinely enjoyed the lockpicking.
Okay.
The basic ones were basic. I was a little bored at first, and then it started to step the difficulty up in the advanced and expert ones. And I was like, now we're fucking talking. Now I'm sitting here trying to plot out the next fucking 4 moves ahead, and I'm like, okay, this is really cool. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, that actually got you thinking. You know, it wasn't, you know, most of Starfield is just, you know, brain dead. That actually got you thinking.
Right. Speaking of brain dead, I want to roll back. I want to roll back to the shooting aspect real quick. I know I said it was half decent, but it had a very, very huge flaw to it.
Okay.
You ever like point blank lay into somebody and your bullets just seem to miss or not register?
In the game?
Yeah, in the game.
I didn't notice. Wait, what?
Like I would be like maybe 5 feet from like let's just say a robot, right? Because this is like where it most frequently happened. Be 5 feet from a robot. I had a modified legendary Grendel. It was a single shot. It had like a 50 ammo clip. It was single fire. It wasn't fully automatic. It was single fire. And I would tap the trigger, and I'd shoot this thing like 4 or 5, maybe 6 times in like 2 seconds, right?
Right.
My aim, you know how my aim is. My aim is pristine. I didn't miss a single shot. 4 of those 6 shots landed. The other 2, I don't know where the fuck they went. I saw the fucking spark come off of the enemy, and I didn't see a damage number. I'm like, what the fuck?
I didn't notice that. I don't know if that's how the game's supposed to be. I don't know. I
would hope it's not supposed to be like that.
Shit. You played Gears of War. It seemed like bullets not registering was a Gears of War
That
thing.
was 100% a lag issue.
It was more than that, man.
Listen, when you two-piece somebody and when you get two-piece, but you roll out of the way and you explode after you finish your dodge roll, that was a lag issue. This is not an online game. This is not an online. There should be no lag issue. There was absolutely no reason for my bullets to either just not register or miss entirely.
Right.
Okay. On top of that, there was a gun I was using. You get it from the hunter. I don't know if you got it because I beat him when he invaded the lodge. So I don't know if you got this gun because he was like, "Oh, I'll give you something for beating me in combat." So he gives me a gun.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Did you use that gun?
I don't remember, to be honest.
It shoots 2 laser beams at the same time. It's like a pew pew. It's a semi-automatic laser, and it shoots 2 lasers at the same time.
I honestly, man, I couldn't tell you. I probably did. I just couldn't tell you.
That gun had a fucking lazy eyes, basically. Okay, one bullet would go straight, and the other one would fuck off in God knows what direction. And I'd be standing perfectly still. Like if I was like strafing while aiming, I'd understand like one just kind of like fucks off, right?
Right.
I'd be standing perfectly still, and I'd be nailing this dude, and like every other shot, one of those laser beams would be like, pew! Like, bro, where are you going?
Well, I can tell you right now. I just looked it up. Bullets not registering is a common thing in Starfield. People are actually talking about it. Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Oh yeah, but yeah, issues with the gameplay. But they got that shit.
Did you encounter? Well, I mean, obviously, I guess my bullets not registering it was a bug. Did you encounter any bugs in your playthrough or glitches? As one that threw me the fuck for a loop.
Pretty sure I fell through the planet at one point.
Nice. That's an interesting one.
I fell through the planet at one point. I was like, "What the fuck is going on? How did I get here?" Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. I just fell right through the planet. I think I was mistaken. I'm gone. Okay.
I had reload, I guess. Yeah, right. I had one, and I have it recorded, so I'll put the video clip when we edit this. Okay. I have one where I was doing a mission and Sarah was with me, and it was like one of the very first missions you do after you go to the lodge. And Sarah was like climbing a staircase, and all of a sudden, she just starts doing this. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And like I tried to like have a conversation. I tried to talk to her to see if I could like because she was stuck. And I tried to talk to her so she could get out of it. And like while I made eye contact with her and the camera like stuck to her face like it does for all the conversations, the camera started going. I need to get the fuck out of here. And she stayed stuck there until I moved to a different area, and then she just fucking like I think she teleported back to where I was.
Okay.
Like that was fucking weird. So other than that, and the bullets not registering, I didn't really encounter too many bugs or glitches.
Surprisingly, for a Bethesda game.
Yeah, surprisingly.
I'm sure they're there. I'm sure they are there. I know I encountered a few bugs. Nothing really too game breaking except for me falling, like I said, through the earth. But you know, I'm sure they are there. I'm sure they are there. All
Without a
right.
doubt, I've seen a lot of videos with a lot of glitches and bugs of the game.
Yeah. It is a Bethesda game.
Let's switch topics to the side content of the game. I know we talked about the side missions for the stories and how we didn't find them interesting at all. We also talked about the rock farming simulator.
Right.
But we haven't yet talked about the 800 planets you can fully explore, quote unquote, fully explore.
So, well, okay. So with those planets, they are just barren, right? It's the same. Yeah. It's the same thing over and over again, or it's just barren planets. I don't understand why they did that. You know, you did not have to do that, and later on we'll talk about why you didn't have to. You know, more in depth. But as the point here, they did not have to do that. All you had to do was just make a bunch of planets that are interesting.
Right.
You know, have interesting stories, have interesting landmarks and things like that that you can do. Make a few planets for base building. You know, and that's pretty much all you had to do. You did not have to make 1,000 planets.
No, it was completely unnecessary because each, like you said, each and every one of those planets was basically barren.
Right.
Even the ones with the main story quest on it, I didn't feel like there was anything there. Maybe I'd run into some alien life forms, but like I said, even those were boring. They run up to you, they smack you, and that's it.
Yeah, why didn't you have a mount in that either? You didn't have a mount in that game.
Why wasn't there any sort of intelligent life form other than humans out there?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Like,
I don't get
it. You see how far you go out into other galaxies. There's an entire fucking multiverse. Not a single alien? Not a single intelligent alien? Come on. The game just felt so fucking empty.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. Not in a good way, because there are things in games that are empty and they're pointless, but they're supposed to be. For example, I was watching Josh Strifehaze. He was talking about this, and he said there are games where you can go out into the ocean and there's nothing there, but it's impressive because it's there's not supposed to be anything here. It's the fucking ocean.
Right.
And B, the fact that you made this for people to just go out and just fuck around in is really cool, right? I could just go off into the ocean if I wanted to. There's nothing there, but I could. But I know there's nothing there. I just want to do it for the experience, right?
Right.
But when your entire game is nothing, that's the problem.
Right.
Like, you can go out into the desert in Final Fantasy 14. There's an area you can go out into the desert. I don't know if you remember that, leveling up in that zone.
I do.
There's not a lot in the desert. There's a couple of enemies you can fight. It's just a desert. It's just a large desert. There's a couple of quests out there. That's about it.
Right.
Large desert. That's it. Is it cool?
Right.
Yes. Is it boring? Also yes. That's it. It's a portion of nothing.
Right. Right. Yeah, I don't know why anybody or why Todd Howard would look at this game and say put 1,000 planets in it, but put nothing on it.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? What was I want to know what was going through this man's head when he said that, because you know that's how they were marketing it too. It was like infinite planets, like.
Right.
Why?
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
Like, and how long? This game has been in development for how long? How long now?
I think it said like 25 years in the making.
Right? You think 25 years you can't fucking come up with something for at least a quarter of those planets.
Yeah,
like you want to put in 250 planets and have something like literally just cut it down to a quarter of what you got and make it all interesting, make it worth going to look at and explore.
Right.
It doesn't have to have anything to do with the main story, but make it interesting enough for people to go and explore. I don't want to go and explore a barren planet unless there's a reason for me to go and explore the barren planet. Like they could have just been like, hey, this planet is barren, here's why, but there's rumors of this or this on the planet still, but people don't go there because there's a giant space monster that eats everybody. I would have been like, fuck yeah, giant space monster, let's fucking go. That's my whole shtick, man. I want to go fight the big monster.
I'm sure now, I'm sure that maybe there are rumors of some type of big monster out there. I don't know. When I played the game, I was doing straight through the story, and then I started my second playthrough and I started doing some of the side missions. But I have not picked that game back up in 2 weeks. The side mission, I started doing the side mission where you get arrested and you got to go do bounties and stuff like that. I don't know. It wasn't that interesting to me. I don't really know. Like the side quests aren't really all that interesting.
No, not even.
I haven't found really any real interesting side quests yet. Maybe I'll give the game some more time with the side missions. But as of now,
I don't know if you misunderstood, but that situation with the giant monster on the barren planet, that was something I made up entirely.
No. I understand.
Oh, okay.
I completely understand.
Because you were like, I don't know nothing about no rumors about a monster. I'm like, no, I wasn't. That's not a real thing in the game.
No. What I'm saying is, I wonder if there is actually a big monster. And there is an actual rumor. Like if you do encounter that, I wonder if that is in the game. But there's just so much bloat in the game. I don't know if you're ever gonna find it.
Right.
I have no clue.
Right.
And also, I don't want to have to go through a whole bunch of side quests to get there.
Yeah.
That should be something that's just right there. Interesting. And then I can.
What was really weird? The map for the city was god awful. The map period was pretty fucking awful.
The map's terrible.
I understand how a map would look like that if you were on an uncharted planet. Okay, really cool situation there. Topographical map of a planet you've never been to. You don't have a map for whatever. I want an actual map for the fucking city because I went there. Like at the end of the game, you need to upgrade your grav drive or some shit so you can travel to the last planet. And it took me almost like 2 hours to figure out where to fucking get a grav drive to do this.
Yeah.
Because it points you to the fucking the shipmaster NPC, and then like in Atlantis City or where the fuck it was called, New Atlantis.
Yeah,
and you can only upgrade the grav drive one more than it already is, but you need something that's 4 more than what you have. So it's like, where the fuck am I gonna get this grav drive to get me where I need to go? So I go and search the whole fucking city because there's no map.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I need ammo. So I had to go and search the whole fucking city again for some place that sells ammo. And for the love of fucking God, there were like 3 convenience stores that sold a little bit of ammo. And then tucked away in a fucking corner next to a random ass apartment was the gun store. That there was no pointer, there was no guide, there was nothing to help me navigate this big ass fucking city.
Right.
Which, by the way,
that was definitely a big flaw.
Still full of nothing. A whole city full of nothing. The NPCs were boring. There was nothing going on there. Except when the hunter rolled in. And like I said, that was when shit started getting interesting.
Right. But that's like, they didn't do like a whole GTA 5 thing where if I walk down a street and then this guy's like, yo, I got that hole up in the club. Yo, what's going on? It's not like that. Fucking GTA 5 NPCs, they be saying some wild, crazy shit out there. But this time, you walking through the city and you want to talk to people. It's like, what? you're not saying anything really interesting. You're not doing anything interesting.
No.
You got nothing interesting to offer. What's going on here?
It was it's just bad. It's just bad. I don't like this game at all.
Yeah,
There's
the content.
just so much like you said, it's got the skeleton, it's got the potential to be something, but it's just they flopped on every fucking aspect except the lock picking. I like the lock
picking. Right, you know, like you said, skeleton's there. Just come on, guys. Just you need to put the skin on, the vest, all that shit. You know, reach your full potential because it's right there. You have the makings of a decent game. Yeah. I don't get it.
On the note of me not liking the game, for some reason, this game is successful. I know you've got
the impact. Huh?
Yes, we're gonna be talking about the impact. I know you've got some statistics, so I'll let you read some off. But it does not make sense to me.
So overall, with the reviews of Starfield, they're pretty split. I mean, IGN gave it 7 out of 10. PC Gamer 75%. Then you got PC World gave it 5 stars. Open Critic 86. Eurogamer 3 stars.
Out of what?
So you got out of 5. So I mean, really, most of it it's middle to good, which is so weird. Which is so weird to me. It's like they refuse to give a Bethesda game a bad review. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it's mostly like 70% and up. So that's that. Audience reviews are like 3.2 from Google right here. So, but let's go to Steam. So right now, Starfield actually has like 59,000 players in game right now. It reached 330,000 for its all-time peak concurrent players.
Mm-hmm. See, that would make sense on like release, right? The game comes out, everybody's hyped for it. That would make sense. Right. 59,000. Actually, you know, I mean, honestly, 59,000 is a lot concurrent. But
even after release, it was still at 100,000. Like on October 1st, it was at 129,000 players. Mm-hmm. And actually, we'll put this in a link down in the description when we're done with that. So I'll make sure to save this. But you know, it's one of those things where it's also saying like Steam, the Steam-based players are saying that it's 70 out of 10. So it's a mostly positive rating for the game. People are apparently liking the game. You know, they are saying that it's something to play.
It's something to play.
You know,
that's a sad way to give a game a 7 out of 10. I gotta be honest. That's really sad.
I don't understand. I think it has to do with, first off, there hasn't been like a big Bethesda RPG in a while. Besides Fallout 76, there hasn't been like a big one in a while. Really hasn't been like a really big space one in a while. Mm-hmm. There's probably outside factors just that go into it, not just the game, but also probably the potential of the game, because at the end of the day, that game is meant to be played for a very long time. It's meant to keep you coming back. It's meant to keep you doing multiple playthroughs and things like that. It is a game that you can keep on going through and through and through, and it's a shooter, which already appeals to the masses. It's a shooter game. It's a game that you can pretty much go anywhere, do anything you want, which 100% appeals to the masses. So right then and there, people are going to keep playing the game. They're going to keep playing the game until something better comes out.
If you told me I had a choice to play Starfield for the rest of eternity or be skinned alive, I choose to be skinned alive. I do not understand. I cannot comprehend how people are just thinking this game is good in any sense of the way. It is
appealing.
It's good at nothing. That's the only thing it's good at. It's good at nothing. There is nothing there. That is all that it's good at. It's just a whole lot of nothing. That is the only thing that got done good in that game. And the story's bad. The characters are bad. The gameplay is fucking glitchy and buggy. The fucking side stuff is terrible. I didn't even bother touching base building. I was afraid to touch base building. I don't give a fuck what my ship looks like because I got through the entire game on the base model. What the fuck?
Well, you know, I could bring up some other numbers here. So, Starfield actually made around $200 million from premium edition sales, and actually had $50 million in revenue just 3 days after it was released. But Microsoft is expecting that it's going to make $1 billion overall within 4 years. So they're expecting 600 million this year.
In other words, expect microtransactions to kick in because and all you people who are enjoying this game, you're gonna get suckered right into it.
No, it's because of Game Pass. It's not just buying the copies; it's also because of Game Pass. Game Pass is making this game also extremely successul because it's.
How would they merit the Game Pass to?
I mean, I guess it's because if people are buying Game Pass because Starfield came out, well, there you go.
How would they know? Like, Game Pass has a lot of games on it. I got Game Pass for Lives of P. Starfield just happened to be there, and I kind of had to play it.
I mean, you're probably gonna see a spike. You know, you're probably just gonna see a spike in that. You know, that's just what you're gonna. If you see you get 10 players that subscribe to the game, that subscribe to the Game Pass, every day. But then all of a sudden, this new game comes out, you get 100 million subscribers. Well, obviously, that people are subscribing because of that game.
Right.
But anyway, so another statistic. Starfield actually is Bethesda's biggest launch ever with 6 million players on Xbox and Windows PC. So yeah, wow, 6 million. God damn.
Like, there's no doubt that financially, the game is successful. They built a lot of hype around this game.
Yeah.
And if that's your merit for success, sure. Then by all means, this game was successful.
I
don't measure success by by financial success, right? Because
that's just it's a financial success,
right? I measure a successful game as how good the game is, how well it's received in the community. Do me a favor real quick. What are the numbers on Elden Ring?
Elden Ring? For what? What do you want?
Financials. How much money did Elden Ring make? Just out of curiosity.
Elden Ring, 152 million in sales.
So, in total, period, since it's come out. Because I mean, if that's its all-time sales, then right off the bat, Starfield's blown that out of the water.
This is August 2023. This is saying that it made 152 million in sales.
Okay. So, looking at financial success, you would say, oh, Starfield is more successful than Elden Ring. I'd look at you like you had 3 fucking heads if you said that to me. Financially, yes. But in terms of how it's affected the gaming community, no. No, God, no. Elden Ring has surpassed that game in every sense of the way.
Elden Ring, though, is a different beast, right?
You're right. It's a different genre. It's a different niche.
Right. And that's the thing. Starfield is accessible.
Well,
but it is. Here's the thing.
But that's
Starfield is an accessible game.
Right.
It's a game that people can go into, not have to worry about somebody just coming up to them and mollywalking them within the first seconds of the game.
You're right.
You know, it's a game that it's a game that people can go into, shoot some stuff, explore some stuff. That's the appeal of the game. It's not just about it's while we're looking for great content, great story, great stuff for to keep us interested. You have a lot of people that are just going ahead and just like buying the game because they just want to have the freedom to do something in a space game. And to them that's apparently enough.
And that's it.
You're not wrong. I'm not saying that it's a good thing.
On my end of the gaming community that I've seen, it's been nothing but negativity towards Starfield. Everybody hates the game. I don't want to say hates. It's not like the game's a 1 out of 10. But like, it sure as shit is barely a 5. Okay, it's mid to less than mid. It should be sitting around a 4 or 5 out of 10. Okay.
Right.
For some reason, it's getting 7 out of 10s. And you've got a lot of people defending this game like it's the greatest thing since sliced fucking bread.
Yeah,
and
I mean, Xbox Twitter is crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking. We had a video where we were talking about the downfall of video games. I think it was one of our podcast episodes. Yeah. We'll put the link in the description if you want to check it out. It's a pretty good episode. You should check it out. But we talked about Bethesda as a company and how its quality has diminished since Skyrim, and honestly, and personally, even before that. But that's another conversation. But someone decided to pop off in the comments like, how dare you talk shit about Starfield? We made this video, mind you, before Starfield even came out. We were hoping the game would be good. Okay, we were talking about that hopeful new IP,
right?
And because we were talking shit about Bethesda quality, someone thought we were talking shit about Starfield. Like I said, the game wasn't even out yet. This man popped the fuck off. I was like, bro, you need to chill. It is not that serious. It's not that serious. And then, mind you, the game had come out by the time we released the video. And turns out the game was pretty fucking shitty. So we weren't wrong. It's just people... Yeah. I don't know why people are so diehard about this game, about saying it's good. It's mid at best. At best, it's mid.
You just have a lot of people, especially Xbox users. I've seen this on Twitter, where they are literally going around and first off, they're thrashing PlayStation games. There's this one tweet that I saw where this guy was like, it takes 30 hours to beat Spider-Man 2, which isn't out yet. It takes 30 hours to beat Spider-Man 2, but people are still playing Starfield 2 weeks later, and they're only like 1% done with the game. I'm like, dude, that's not a good thing.
No.
Like,
no.
What are you trying to say? And he was like, Xbox just hits different. No, dude, that's not good. That's not good. You're talking about people that's just not going around and doing everything in the game, because it's just over bloated. Right. You got other people that are just really bashing PlayStation games because they are extremely diehard Xbox fans, and they won't admit to themselves for some reason. And I don't know. This honestly a human being issue. They won't admit to themselves that this game is not great. This game should have been better. Yeah. We should expect better. We should not expect something that's just mid. That's just something to play in the meantime. This should have been a game that should have kept us captivated and keeps us captivated for a long time. Right. One of the games that came out recently that was huge was Baldur's Gate 3, right? Mm-hmm. Baldur's Gate 3 is a near perfect game. And it blows Starfield out of the water. But Starfield appeals to more people because most people don't like playing games that are turn-based, mm-hmm. Dungeons and Dragons-esque. They don't really like that. They want to play a third or first person shooter. That's what it appeals to them. So they're going to flock to this game, to this mid game, and elevate it, say that it's better than everything else.
Right.
Because it's just an accessible space simulator game.
And in the wise words of Chris, gamers are fed shit and they eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, and
in this case, they enjoy it.
Right.
They enjoy eating the shit they are fed.
Right.
And
it's like
that's
it's like they just accept it, and I don't understand it. Why would you there are better games out there that you can play, that you can put your money towards, that you can say that are great. Why are you so hopped up on this game?
Right. I am a die-hard Final Fantasy fan. Final Fantasy is my favorite game. I will take that sentiment with me to the grave. Final Fantasy VII and the entire series as a whole. I can talk about them for years, okay? I can sit there and say there are flaws in the titles that are released. Final Fantasy 16, my biggest flaw was the basic combat. Final Fantasy 15, my biggest flaw was the fact that it's combat simulator and the story was incomplete. Yeah. There are flaws. I love these games. They are amazing games. I love them. They are top tier, or well, I mean, sometimes, most of the time they're top tier games. But even the best ones, I can sit there and be like, this is a problem. Right. I see this as a problem. I can admit this is a problem. They should have done better. I'm not going to sit there and tell you this is the most perfect game to ever exist and there is absolutely nothing fucking wrong with it.
Right.
I'd be lying out of my fucking teeth.
Right. That should be with any game, because like I said, Baldur's Gate 3 is near perfect.
Right.
It's not a perfect game. It is a near perfect game. Okay. No matter what, nobody should just be thrashing, some like a whole other company, and saying like, PlayStation games are bad, Xbox games are the best. What are you talking about, man? This game is not that great. You have bad Sony games. I can't think of any right now. But you have bad Sony games. Well, Days Gone, but it was. Oh, yeah. It was that, but that was a mid game. That game was a mid game. That game was a mid game. Okay, so, but the point I'm trying to make is, this game has flaws. It is not the Jesus of video games, and for some reason, you got Xbox, Twitter using. I don't know. Maybe it's just Twitter. Maybe Twitter's just toxic, to be completely honest.
I think it's just the Bethesda people. Because let's roll this back, right? Let's not even talk about Starfield right now. Let's roll this back to like Skyrim, okay? I know you're one of them Skyrim boys. That Skyrim is like, this is the best shit ever. I could play this for fucking ever.
Me?
Yeah. How many times you played fucking Skyrim, bro?
Well, yeah, I mean, I love Skyrim. I don't think it's the best thing ever. I mean, yeah, I love Skyrim.
I mean, I enjoy Skyrim. I'm not gonna go back 10 years later and continuously play it like it's something fucking fresh out the oven, like some people do. I mean, I do want to get the Skyrim Ultima mod. That looks so fucking good. But I digress. There are people who just like still play Skyrim. There are still people who play Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Well, Grand Theft Auto 4 is a great fucking game, so I don't know about 5. The 5 story was actually really good, but in the multiplayer,
yeah,
not the point. Not the point though. I see what you're saying, but here's the thing. The difference is, at least me personally, I'm not seeing people go out and say that that Skyrim is the end all be all.
No.
Everybody else is wrong.
That there are people out there.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's not
exist.
Right.
They exist.
But so Skyrim, I love Skyrim, but I'm never going to say that Skyrim is a perfect game, because we all know Skyrim is far from a perfect game. Okay, that game was bricking PlayStations. That's awful. Okay,
listen. Once the horses could climb a mountain like this, That was it for me. I was
But-
like, this game is not. I mean, like, Skyrim's phenomenal, right? But
It
like,
is.
you can't say Skyrim is perfect when your horse can climb a mountain at an angle like
But-
this.
But
Okay.
you know what?
It's fun. It's funny. The memes.
Right.
But like,
Right.
aside from that, there's a lot of other issues with the game.
But I mean, look at it this way. Honestly, when most games should not take themselves too seriously. I didn't find anything wrong with the fact that that every horse that I had was pretty much God. You know? I thought that shit was great. Yeah, I could use that shit to climb up mountains and shit like that. Hell fucking yeah. That shit was fun to me.
Yeah.
And they never patched it because they knew it was fucking fun.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing though. Skyrim had fun shit. Skyrim had fucking you know, shit where it's like side quests that were really interesting. I mean, look at the Dark Brotherhood storyline, the thief storyline.
Right.
Oh my god, the betrayal in that shit. You know, Winterhold, the whole Civil War storyline. That shit was fucking great.
Oh yeah.
Look at Fallout 3. You know, when you're going through the wasteland and you're helping people, you're seeing the difference between people. I mean, your first mission, you know, one of your first missions in Fallout 3, you can blow up a town with a fucking nuke. I mean, that shit right there is great. That shit right there it pulls you in.
Right.
Starfield is like, nah, we're gonna take 50 years to try and pull you in.
We're gonna go. We gotta go get some rocks, bro.
Yeah.
Are you not excited for the rocks?
You get like
It's
you gotta be like SpongeBob, man.
Come on.
It's not a boulder, it's a rock. A rock.
And it just kind of makes you wonder, like, where'd that Bethesda quality go? And I don't mean quality as in the game crafting, because the engine has been the same since Fallout 3. I'm talking about the story. Okay. Now the main story for some of the games we were talking about, kind of iffy, you know. I mean, Skyrim's main story was decent, right? Fallout 4's main story was decent. I think Fallout 3's main story, if I remember correctly, was actually pretty good. I genuinely enjoyed it.
Decent.
The Oblivion story, I fucking love the Oblivion story. I know you haven't played Oblivion, but spoiler alert, you get to steal the Elder Scroll.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
shit gets crazy. Shit gets crazy. You go and fight fucking Mehrunes Dagon. It's pretty great.
Morrowind was really interesting, actually. I thought Morrowind was really good.
Was it?
too.
I
Yeah.
never got to finish with Morrowind. But my point is that we know Bethesda can drop quality shit. Where the fuck is it? Why did they think this was good? Why are people saying this is good? We have examples of good Bethesda stuff. This is it's nothing. It's just nothing. It's bad.
Compared to their RPGs, even compared to Fallout 76.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Fallout 76 was, to me,
It was a nightmare, but I think that was more of a marketing issue, to be honest.
right.
It was them pushing microtransactions. It was them trying to just pull cash out of people, and I think it just made the game worse.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, after the Wastelanders update, Fallout 76 was actually pretty decent.
Right.
But regardless, there's not a Wastelanders update you can do for Starfield. You know.
Right. And it's not like there aren't good space games out there.
Right.
Like, look at Mass Effect. Mass Effect's the biggest one, right? It's got
Beautiful.
a fucking fantastic story, the character development, the things you can do in that game, the fucking dialogue options,
Yeah.
the fucking big bad Reapers story, the ending to the game we don't talk about.
Listen, Mass Effect, man. Ah, damn, I'm gonna have to play Mass Effect again now. That story, Mass Effect story is just amazing through and through. And not only that, but the content that they have there, where they actually make going somewhere interesting. And you can go to a lot of planets in that game, but more like a mining thing. You know how they have mining in Starfield where you actually land on? No, you mine from the ship and then you just keep it moving.
Yeah. That's
right
it.
there is great.
That's
that
it.
right there is great.
Yeah.
You know, that's all you need to do. Why am I landing on this planet that is nothing?
Yeah.
No, nothing. Like, come on, man.
And
You had the blueprint in Mass Effect. All you need to do is pretty much follow that. You would have been fine.
right. Just make an interesting story in a vast open space and have some interesting stuff peppered in. Maybe like they should have drawn the scale back. Like 800 is too much.
It definitely is.
And they should have learned their lesson from No Man's Sky. Like when No Man's Sky originally dropped, that game was just nothing. I don't even think there was combat in that game, to be honest, when it first dropped.
No, not really.
If there was, it was shitty. Now I know they've gone above and beyond in No Man's Sky. I hear nothing but positive stuff about No Man's Sky, but I was there at day one. And I can't get rid of that stigma. I can't bring myself to go back to it. As much as I want to, as much as I'm like, maybe it'll be interesting. I look at the fucking title card for it on my PlayStation, and I'm like, I can't do this to myself again.
I've tried No Man's Sky. It's not my type of game. I've tried it. I gave it a try. It's not my type of game.
Yeah. I feel like the new No Man's Sky is kind of what Starfield is. It's just a mining simulator. You go around, you mine shit, and that's it. I feel like there's nothing else to do in Starfield except go shoot bandits. For what? To what end? To what end? For why? Why am I doing this? Why am I exploring these planets? Why is this here?
I don't know. Like I said, they have the template right there in front of them with Mass Effect, you know, and they I don't know why they just didn't follow it. It's right there.
It's a real shame what happened here, and I feel like this is a problem with a lot of games these days. I want to segue into bloat now, because I know this is a big thing we want to talk about, and this is a big thing affecting Starfield. There's a lot of bloat in video games now. The executives see, oh, you can spend 200-300 hours in this game, and they see that as a sale point. And the gamers are sitting there, they're like, why? I don't want this.
Right.
Unless it's like legitimately good. I don't want to sit here for 300 hours. I've got other shit to play.
Right.
Final Fantasy 16 took me what, 30 hours? 40 hours?
Yeah.
That was one of the
an amazing solid game.
Yeah. Most amazing gaming experiences this year.
Yep.
For honestly, in the past couple of years, to be honest, Final Fantasy 16 has blown shit out of the water in its graphical fidelity, the way it's told its story.
Yeah.
And it was only 40 hours.
I mean, hell, you definitely don't need bloat, because look at Resident Evil. You can play Resident Evil over and over and over and over and over again. Like,
yeah.
And like new playthroughs every time, over and over. Hell, I've done it multiple freaking times.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience.
And it's not even like you feel like you have to do it. You want to do it because the game is actually fun. You're enjoying the game itself. The challenges the higher difficulty presents, the interesting things that the new runs present, the extra challenges you can do throughout the game that you might have to go back for, like the collectibles and shit. And you get rewarded for it. You get a nice little fucking, I don't know, a new gun, infinite ammo, whatever the fuck it might be. The game is fun.
Right. And
unlocking these things makes the game more fun.
I mean, dude, how many times have we played Resident Evil 5?
Yo, we play...
like, shit.
Chris.
Oh, that boulder punching asshole.
Oh, shit.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, you can't say that about Starfield. Why do I want to go through a new game plus and collect space rocks all over again?
Bro,
collect all these powers. It's like, why would I want to do that?
That was how I felt when the game got announced. I was like, was there even a real selling point for the game other than, oh, there's 800 planets, it's in space, and you can shoot things?
It's Bethesda.
And it's Bethesda? Is that it? That was basically it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, oh, dude. They weren't even like... they didn't even tease the story, did they?
Not really. No.
Can't imagine why.
No, they were, from the marketing that I recall, It was mostly about the 1,000 planets.
Yeah.
And the
300, 800 hours.
Right. The fact they say that this game can be
Infinite
played for
amount of
years and years
playtime.
on end.
Fuck you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you want a game that puts in 300 fucking hours and makes it worth it? Play Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I sat in Act 1 for 50 hours. I loved every fucking second of it.
Bro, I'm still in Act 1. I'm getting into it right now. And I'm like, I could just skip all this stuff and just go to Act 2, but I don't want to. I don't want to. It's so good.
It is.
I finally am unlocking like Will's next part and what's going on with him. Oh my god.
Dude. I I went through the game. I spent a lot of time. I think I have almost 200 hours in my first playthrough.
Mm.
I still missed shit.
Right.
I thought I did everything. And I'm scrolling through TikTok and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Exactly. Oh my god.
And I'm like, you fucking fuck. Now, don't get me wrong. I was gonna do another playthrough anyway.
Right.
But this just makes me want to do another one even more because I'm like, out of all the things I did, I still miss something. And even the things I already did, I can change stuff and make it something I haven't done before. It might be the same scenario, but I can choose different options. I can pick a different side. There's stuff to do, and it is interesting and it is intriguing. You want something with bloat that is good bloat? Baldur's Gate. You want bad bloat? Assassin's Creed, Starfield. Honestly, a lot of these Ubisoft games.
Pretty much any Ubisoft game after Assassin's Creed 3. At least Far Cry 5 was interesting.
Far Cry 5 was interesting. Far Cry 6 made me want to fucking cry.
Yeah.
I loaded the game up. I got through the tutorial.
Yeah.
I opened the map. I zoomed out on the map, and I said no. And I dipped. I loved Far Cry 5. I noped the fuck out of Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
I could not. Bloat is not a good thing. Okay?
No.
If you want a large game, you need to present it in a very, very good way. Yeah. Because, like I said, Baldur's Gate 3 is a very large, very bloated game. But every single bit of that bloat is interesting, intriguing.
Yep.
It pulls you in. It makes you want to do it, not like you have to do it.
Right.
And a lot the example I have in Starfield for things that makes you feel like you have to do is like we were talking about before, when you need to get that grav drive to go to the last planet. I haven't stepped foot inside New Atlantis except to go to the lodge. Now I gotta go and fuck off and find a fucking spaceship part on a fucking city with no map.
Yeah.
With multiple tiers to it? Like, come on, man. Come on.
Compared to a lot of other games, Starfield is just it's just not great. There are concepts that it has that were done way better in other games. Except for its lockpicking. I will say, just like
its lockpicking is really good. Yeah. I that's like the only thing I got for it, man.
Yeah. All right.
Let's come to our final thoughts here. Let's talk about Game of the Year. We know it's going to get nominated, right?
For sure.
That's guaranteed.
For sure.
But much like Tax said, it's going to be a pat on the head for Bethesda.
Yeah.
Like, good job, guys. You did great. You didn't do great. Get the fuck out of here. What are your thoughts on Game of the Year?
It's not gonna win.
No.
Which it doesn't deserve to win. Honestly, to me, it doesn't even really deserve to be nominated.
I agree 100%.
But it's probably gonna get nominated. Actually, Contenders, they just announced, are coming out in November, so we will keep an eye out for that to see what they actually think they are. I mean, we know Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be one of them. Resident Evil 4, probably Final Fantasy 16, Zelda, of course. But yeah,
there's a big lineup for Game of the Year this year.
Yeah. But as much as I don't want it to be, I know Starfield's going to be up there, but it's definitely not going to win.
Yeah, it should be an honorable mention, maybe. It'd be like I said, it should be a pat on the head for Bethesda. Like you came out with something new in the last, God knows how many years. But yeah. You think there's gonna be a sequel? Probably not. I don't think so. Because like, let's be honest, they kind of set themselves up for infinite failure with the whole multiverse thing.
I feel like what they might do, if they don't do a sequel, they're going to do massive updates based on what the community wants. So, one of the biggest things is that the community wants some type of driving or something on the planet. Well, maybe they might do a massive update where you can actually do that.
I don't even think they're going to touch this game. The same way they never touched Skyrim. You want to know why?
They did touch Skyrim.
Modders.
But they did touch Skyrim.
Did they?
A lot. Oh yeah.
Are you talking about the PlayStation releases? Like the PlayStation special edition with the mods in the game and shit?
No, I'm talking about like the expansions and stuff like that, and they actually did fix their bugs and stuff too. Some of them. But yes, it was pretty much left up to the modders.
Yeah. I think the same thing's gonna happen here. It's gonna be a very much modded game to be even bearable.
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. I think that modders are gonna go ahead and just tear this game apart to make it to what people want it to be.
Yeah.
If you're not playing this game on a PC, you are doing yourself a disservice because you need those. You're gonna need those mods if you really want to unlock the potential of this game.
Yep, I was actually gonna talk about the potential of this game and the potential it had. I know we talked about it a lot, but this game's got a good skeleton to it. Yep. And Bethesda just did not do a good job at filling it in. Yeah.
The story should definitely have been about the multiverse, or they should expand the multiverse aspect. Hell, I would like to. What if I went ahead, just like kind of ripped a hole into the multiverse and then like bounce it back and forth? Maybe I start a war. I start a war with the multiverse.
Right.
Something.
There's infinite possibilities, and they did nothing with it. Yeah. That's all I gotta say about the potential of this fucking game.
Yeah.
If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 3 out of 10.
Give it a 4.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. It's not it's not hot garbage, but it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, it's garbage. Hot garbage. I will say that I will go back into it only so that way I can do all the side stuff to get the full scope of the game, and maybe I'll come back to you and see it and tell you if there's anything worth it in that game. But odds are
you're out of your fucking mind. That's all I gotta say about that.
That's gonna be during the lull season of gaming. Okay, that's what that's gonna be. And that's the December months, because not really anything's coming out in December. Thank fucking God. Give me a goddamn break with my wallet.
Right. I gotta be honest. I would not recommend this game to anybody. To any one of my friends, I would not say, "Oh, this is a game you should play." No, I would never say that.
If you hate your friends, sure.
Yeah. If you hate your friends and you want to see them waste $70. So I'm sorry, $70. Yeah. If you want to see them waste $70, if you've got nothing to play and you're bored out of your fucking mind and you don't want to go outside and touch grass, just get the Xbox Game Pass, because it's not worth the $70.
Yep, that is the only thing. That's the only thing that I would recommend people to say, just so that way they can get Xbox Game Pass and realize, hey, Xbox Game Pass is actually really freaking good.
Yeah. I got Xbox Game Pass to force myself to play Starfield, And I saw Lies of P was on the Game Pass, and I'm really enjoying that right now.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend Lies of P, but but it's not about that right now.
That's a different review.
I think that's all we got for this discussion. I think we're gonna close it out. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you think about Starfield in the comments. Let us know what you think about Bethesda games in the comments.
Hey, if you have any suggestions for our podcast or anything like that we can talk about, please let us know.
Yeah, very true. Hey guys, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out some other stuff on our channel here. And don't forget to check out our Two Nerds and a Podcast series, and we'll see you at the next one.